Now, a statistic released a while back suggested that the average British household kitchen lasted no longer than 5 years before being replaced. But here at ManLab, we like to choose once and choose well. So we're going to build a kitchen that will last for 1,000 years out of concrete. The kitchen will be the first of a series of ambitious improvements to Planet ManLab. To achieve true millennial permanence, I'm going to need specialist help. And mine comes in the unshaven and loosely defined shape of Simmy, inspirational inventor, builder and architect. What a piece of work is a man, wrote Shakespeare. He may have meant Sim, who was so committed he had already built the mould for our kitchen before I'd turned up. Now, in order to cast the worktop in concrete, we have to think of the worktop in reverse in order to make a mould, which is what Simmy's done here. So you can see that is the drainer. So what is normally an indentation is now proud, because obviously when the concrete comes out, it will then be an indentation. And that is where the sink will go.
That is the sink.
And this is where the hob will go. Those are the rough holes for the taps.
Yep. This is not a proper mould. We're going to have to break it apart to get the top out.
Right. So it's a one-shot deal, this. If it doesn't work, there'll be something else in the programme at this point next week about building some prefabricated units bought from a high street kitchen shop. There cannot be a more noble material for the construction of a kitchen than concrete. A self-setting soup of cement, gravel, sand and water. Functional and refined, and completely impervious to the vagaries of fashion or the weather. It is worth pointing out that the making of concrete was one of the great forgotten man's skills, because the Romans, of course, could do it, and then it took us until, well, about 1860, something like that, to rediscover it. Although it is fair to say that Britain has never really fallen in love with this most mouldable of building materials. It is very true that concrete got a bad rap, especially during the 70s and 80s, as being an ugly material. But I don't think that is true. I think used correctly, it can be rather wonderful. It tends to be an ugly colour, but you can make it into very interesting shapes, because you can make it pretty much any shape you want.
This is true.
You should never use it as the surround for a bonfire, because it explodes, because it has little bubbles of water in it, or sometimes quite big ones, and obviously when they heat up, they become steam, but they're under pressure because they're enclosed, and then at some point, kabang, and you get bits of concrete flying all over the place. For the next 2 hours, Simmy and I continue to fill our kitchen mould. Bliss was it in that dawn to be alive. Anyway, I think you've got the general idea, and you've probably seen enough of me and Simmy mincing around with trowels. So, we'll come back to this when it's set and we break it out, and in the meantime, I'm going to put a different shirt on and reappear in our sitting area for something else.
Right, shall we give this a whirl?
Yes.
Wait for it.
Look at that. It's like a sun rising.
OK, that's enough on. Take your off brush. That's the other brush, James.
Yeah.
OK, now we're going to do... Let's do exactly the same again, but this time you're taking the polish off. OK, come on.